Welcome back. With a growing fitness market, mobile app developers are actively developing their businesses. But how to turn their ambition into huge profits?
The commercial fitness industry appeared in China as early as the 1980s, but has only started to soar over recent years. That's largely due to rising wages and health consciousness among the country's rising middle class, especially in the top-tier cities. According to business think tank Ibis World, the industry's annual growth averaged nearly 14% from 2010 to 2015, and it's expected to rake in more than $5 billion this year. In June 2015, FitTime worked with Junfund to crowdfund their new product, allowing users to buy shares for 233 RMB, or a little less than $40. The event was popular among its fans. Even sports giant Adidas chipped in.
We believe that FitTime has a lot of potential in the fitness industry. If you want to build a great brand, you have to love fitness and believe that working out can really make people happier. I think ZTime is one of those companies. We want to cooperate with promising brands and fitness platforms in China so that we can make a positive contribution to the Chinese people.
甚至将来能够对中国国民健身产生积极影响的事情。
But Zhu Xiaoxiao believes that only targeting people who are already working out isn't enough. He is looking to develop new users by lowering the threshold in the hope of tapping the wider potential market.
The threshold for consumers is still too high. What we want to do is to lower the threshold. We give people free stuff, and we give them something that will only cost them 100 or 200 yuan per month. By lowering the threshold, we can expand the market beyond the users that are into fitness today. According to my own estimates, I believe that if we have a market of 10 million users today, it will expand to at least 30 million once we lower the threshold. Once these new users arrive, there will be a lack of gyms and trainers. When that time comes, we will be able to do a lot of things. This is what we think will happen, and that's the direction we're going in.
对，这是我们对这个一个市场的一个预判吧。对，也是我们未来的一个发展方向。
At the same time, Rand Fitness has secured a $15 million Series A investment. CEO Wang Hao also believes that the market will expand and explains that the company plans to grow exponentially over the next 2 years.
我们是想在2、3年之内呢，
Over the next 2 or 3 years, we will firstly have a presence in all of China. We want to cover at least the provincial capitals, which is 40 or so cities. That's our goal for the cities. Secondly, we want to cooperate with at least 100,000 fitness companies. That's our goal for our partners. Thirdly, we want to provide fitness services to more than 50 million people, which is roughly the entire market in China today. We want the market to expand, and we want more people to receive the excellent service that we have to offer.
能够享受到最优质的健身的服务。
But analysts point out over-reliance on offline service providers is the issue to be addressed for O2O fitness apps. They warn this dependency could be the potential bottleneck for the industry's long-term development.
我个人认为，就是健身 O2O 其实还有很长的路要走。
Fitness O2O still has a long way to go. Actually, there are already a great number of apps in this category, but traditional offline fitness companies aren't very positive about them. Yet these companies are the mainstream of today's fitness industry, and no matter how much you make it an O2O thing, this industry is still firmly grounded in the offline world. But a lot of people are investing, or as we say, burning money, and although they are competing with traditional companies, they are also reliant on them because they need professional gyms and professional trainers. They don't have their own infrastructure and they won't be able to build it either, at least in the short term. So fitness O2O companies still have a very long way to go indeed.
和专业的教练，因为他自己是没有这些东西的，短期之内他也不可能就是 有比较完备的这种设施。
Young says fitness apps also need to develop hardware connectivity to foster a loyal user base. He says integrating e-commerce will be a key source of revenue for fitness apps.
第二点呢，就可以是让这个健身 APP 更加贴近我们的生活。
Developers could make fitness apps become a part of our lives. They might decide not to limit themselves to just training schedules, but include other things like nutrition, sleep, and weight monitoring. Then, as a user, I might check the app first thing in the morning to check on my sleep pattern, like Xiaomi's product the Mi Band does now. Thirdly, they will probably develop e-commerce platforms. Why do I think they'll do that? Because then they can sell sports equipment, gear, clothes, and accessories and smart equipment.
在这上面可以卖一些运动设备、穿戴设备、智能设备，然后还有包括一些运动建材、器材。
Young also says, though China's internet giants are tapping into the country's booming sports market, their focus remains on large matches and events rather than personal fitness. But he says for industry players in this participation-based area, integration with these large sports platforms could be a possible direction for development in the future.
很多互联网巨头也开始
Many internet giants want to get a piece of this cake, and many have already made some efforts, but their focus so far has been on spectator sports like match tickets. They haven't delved into the market and made their users become truly their own. They still need to develop a service that makes consumers actively participate. But if internet giants are unable to pull this off, they will need other companies to do it for them. To solve this, they can make a platform that gathers all these apps. If they grab this opportunity, it would be a good opportunity for them to develop. If they choose to team up with the internet giants, they could create a sports empire.
这个机遇来投奔巨头，那么真的有可能就会缔造一个真正的体育帝国。
So, Professor Jia, what are the challenges O2O fitness apps face when trying to integrate office gyms as studios?
Well, I'm seeing several challenges. One is the alignment of interest. We've already talked about this high pricing gap, and also the how the new product may actually displace the existing annual membership,
Right.
Sales on that. And another thing we haven't talked about is the fact that another way for these commercial gyms to make money is by promoting their personal training sessions. These are high margin service offerings. Right. But when you have all these people come and go as they wish, people who buy these 99 RMB package are not going to be the people who request these personal trainings, right? So I think from a revenue perspective, this is actually not that positive, for the commercial gyms. And second challenge is actually standardization. You're now operating and working with a multiple number of commercial gyms. Some are higher quality in terms of the equipment they have. Some are lower qualities. So if you don't manage the relationship properly, what will happen is all these people will go to these high quality gyms, and these low quality gyms will remain idle, right? So which is actually not good from a operation perspective. And a third challenge is actually coordination. Now you have all these people rushing to the gym, after hours, which is going to be very crowded for the gym. So for the gym, its internal management, this is going to be more challenging as well, right? And it's going to actually adversely affect the overall experience of their long-term customers.
Right. It's going to be harder.
Yeah.
Professor Jia, what do you think about crowdfunding? They're saying that the crowdfunding era hasn't even begun in China, but it's already finished. But we look at FitTime, they actually used crowdfunding to start a business. Can you comment on that?
Right, it's an interesting product offering. This is actually a product that's jointly developed by one of the early investors of FitTime and the FitTime company itself. So the investor behind FitTime, one is Zhenge Fund, and the other one is actually Matrix. So the idea is the company is able to offer a number of shares to 300 fans or users of FitTime. And I think the point here is not really to address any financial need of the company, as the company has already raised external venture capital financing from top venture capital firms in China. I think the purpose rather is to actually engage the customer deeper, the users deeper, and use that as a marketing campaign. So I think so far the company has been quite successful in terms of using that marketing strategy.
Giving your users a tiny piece of the equity to keep coming back, right?
And also to gain customer loyalty.
That's right.
Right.
So Professor Jia, we already talked about it. Fitness market abroad, especially in the US, is already very, very mature. So do you think it's possible for a foreign player to enter China and dominate the market here?
Well, I think it's very possible that foreign players wanted to tap into the Chinese market, given this market, as we mentioned, has been growing extremely fast over the last several years. We're looking at double-digit growth in this market. However, whether or not these foreign players will be successful in this part of the world, I think that's a big question mark. Because we know for any business model to transplant that same model into foreign countries, you need to know the local know-hows. The rule of the game can be very different in that part of the world. You know, for example, if you think about Google, if you think about eBay, if you think about Uber, right? These are all U.S. companies who are hugely successful in the U.S. and wanted to tap into the massive Chinese market, but so far they have or are encountering a number of significant challenges. So whether or not these fitness giants in the U.S. can be equally successful in China, I think that's remained to be seen.
And they really have to learn about Chinese culture and Chinese customers' spending habits as well.
Exactly. Right.
Well, thank you very much for all your time and insights, Professor Jia.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Tracy.
That's it for this edition of New Money. And if you have an interesting business case to share, please email us at newmoney@cctv.com. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you at the same time next week.